Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Thursday morning, April 20th. We continue to have cold air outbreaks reaching the U.S., and as long as that happens, there'll be the chance for some severe weather. Indeed, late yesterday, last night, we had some tornadic activity. Oklahoma was especially hard hit. There is the chance for some more strong to severe thunderstorms later on this afternoon into the evening. A strong cold front will be the main weather feature in the eastern half of the nation over the next few days as it slides across the Ohio Valley on Saturday and then reaches the eastern seaboard by Saturday night. It will have some heavy rain associated with it and some additional strong to severe thunderstorm activity. The cold air outbreaks look like they'll continue all the way into the first week of May and perhaps even beyond that. So again, we'll have the continuation of some clashes in the atmosphere between that cold air to the north and west and increasingly warm and humid air to the south and east. This is the outlook for today and tonight by NOAA's Storm Prediction Center for the possibility of some more strong to severe thunderstorms. Again, yesterday, Oklahoma was especially hard hit. That threat zone kind of shifts a little bit to the east today, extending from the eastern half of Texas all the way up into the northern part of the Mississippi Valley region, the upper part of the Midwest. So we'll certainly keep an eye on any lines of thunderstorms that form later today. And again, this kind of a pattern looks like it'll continue for the next couple of weeks with additional cold air outbreaks making their way from Canada into the U.S. Well, in fact, let's take a look at the temperature pattern as depicted by last night's operational run of the Canadian model here. This is the 0Z run. And here we have that dichotomy across the nation in terms of the 850 millibar temperature anomalies with a lot of cold air out here across the western states and increasingly warm conditions in the eastern U.S. today and tomorrow. Temperatures in D.C., for example, will climb well up into the 80s today and can flirt with the 90-degree mark, perhaps a record in some spots tomorrow afternoon. Again, that's in the D.C. metro region. It gets warmer in Philadelphia as well over the next couple of days. A little bit less certain for the warmth in New York City and north and east, or maybe kind of a backdoor cool front to deal with over the next couple of days from New York City north and east. But again, much warmer in the eastern half of the nation and much colder than normal in the western half. Now, let's move forward here and we'll see this colder air mass that floods into the middle of the nation over the next day or two will slowly slide to the east. Here we are on Saturday morning, and there'll be a strong cold front right in this region right here. And again, there can be some heavy rain along that frontal boundary zone, and maybe even some strong to severe thunderstorm activity. And look at this chill in the air. This is some 15 to 20 degrees below normal by Saturday morning, right across the heartland, places like Iowa, Nebraska, the rest of the central and northern plains, way below normal for this time of year. That can be a concern in during the growing season when overnight temperatures drop to freezing or below. So be on the lookout for that out in the farmland across the middle of the nation. We move forward here, and there certainly can be an outbreak of some heavy rain right along the I-95 corridor region late Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening. Looks like kind of the typical summertime type threat, the time period for the showers and thunderstorms in the I-95 corridor region from D.C. to Philadelphia to New York City. Let's say roughly 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening. And here comes that widespread colder than normal air mass. It'll kind of come in two stages into the mid-Atlantic northeast U.S. There'll be that initial front late Saturday night that slides off the eastern seaboard by Sunday morning. And then a secondary front ushers in even cooler air by the time we get to Monday for the mid-Atlantic northeast U.S. Now, let's move forward here. That colder than normal air sticks around early next week. We're all the way out to next Tuesday and then into next Wednesday, and another reinforcing shot of colder than normal air moving into the Rocky Mountain states by the middle of next week, sliding to the south and east. And look at that, all the way down into Texas by the time we get to a week from right now, next Thursday. And certainly we'll have to be on the lookout for the possibility of some more severe weather. Anytime you have these warm and humid conditions in the deep south and cold, dry air moving in from the north and west, you set up that clash zone. Could repeat later next week. This is a week from now, next Thursday. Let's move quickly forward here. And still, certainly some colder than normal air showing up on the maps here. Here's yet another cold air outbreak by the time we get to next week, and we're all the way out now to April 29th. And unfortunately, this cold air outbreak pattern looks like it'll continue right into the month of May. Well, let's now take a look at the vorticity field here. This is at 500 millibars, the middle part of the atmosphere, again using the Canadian model run from last night. And this is the system right here, an upper level low that helped to generate some tornadoes right in this region last night. There'll be a kind of a strong to severe thunderstorm threat right in this region right here during the day. Now, let's move forward here and watch what happens here as we evolve over the next day or two with this upper level vorticity field. Here we go by Friday, and again, very warm along much of the eastern seaboard. A little bit in question, New York City north and east, but DC again could flirt with the 90-degree mark tomorrow afternoon, which would be a record in some spots in that metropolitan area. Here we go now. By the time we get to Saturday, we have a pretty vigorous upper level low over the upper part of the Midwest, the western Great Lakes. And then we go into late in the day on Saturday. This is midday on Saturday, and finally Saturday evening. And we mentioned this yesterday, the negatively tilted upper level trough axis. Here we have the upper level low sitting right here over the far western Great Lakes by Saturday evening. This is the 8 p.m. Saturday evening forecast map. This is a negatively tilted upper level trough that extends from the northwest to the southeast, and that really promotes a lot of upward motion, an intensifying upward motion to the east here, and that'll be centered right over the mid-Atlantic region and raising the possibility not only some heavy rainfall, but the possibility late Saturday evening for some strong to potentially severe thunderstorm activity along that I-95 corridor, reach DC, Philadelphia, even as far north as New York City. Now, let's move forward here in time, and the frontal system, the initial frontal system, clears the coast on Sunday morning. It kind of remains an unstable day on Sunday, certainly cooler on Sunday than on Saturday behind that initial front in the Mid-Atlantic region. But there'll be a couple of spokes of upper-level energy moving through, which could cause an additional shower or two at just about any time during the day on Sunday. And then a secondary cold front kind of pushes on through by Sunday night, and that'll usher in probably the coolest air for Monday of next week into the Mid-Atlantic, into the northeast U.S. Or certainly a chillier pattern setting up for Sunday and especially Monday into Tuesday. Well, now let's wrap up with the surface forecast maps from last night's Canadian model run. Here's what remains right now as we begin the day on Thursday of that line of strong to severe thunderstorms that rocked places like Oklahoma last night with some tornadic activities. Still some heavy rain out in the middle of the nation, basically dry throughout the eastern half of the nation. Now, let's move forward. The initial primary low drives up to the north and east, and look at this, still cold enough for accumulating snow by later today into tonight. Northern Minnesota, upper part of Wisconsin, and even back into the Dakotas, the North Dakota area, can be some snow, maybe even some accumulating snow late today and tonight. Again, cold air outbreaks continuing at least for the next couple of weeks. Meanwhile, in the east, ahead of this incoming cold front, we'll have a flow of air like this out of the south, and that'll boost temperatures on Friday. This is the Friday morning forecast map to very warm conditions in DC, maybe near 90 degrees, probably well up in the 80s in Philadelphia. A little less certain about the warmth in this part of the nation, or maybe a little bit of a backdoor cool front here. But here is that strong cold front by the time we get to Friday morning, and it really becomes the focus of attention by the time we get to the weekend. Here we go by Saturday morning. Low pressure forms along that frontal boundary zone. We got the colder air pouring in in this fashion here. Still some warm air hanging in there on Saturday up along the East Coast. This clash zone is supported by that negative trough, negatively tilted trough axis in the upper part of the atmosphere. So you combine this clash in temperatures with that strong upward motion, and we'll see what happens here. We could have some heavy rain right in this time period right here, maybe some strong to severe thunderstorms. We're talking later Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening, D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. Again, some heavy rainfall on the table, maybe a strong to severe thunderstorm as well. This is the Saturday evening forecast map. And by the way, we haven't had much heavy rain at all in the mid-Atlantic region during the last couple of months. There have been few and far between in terms of significant rain events. This certainly could put down a half to an inch of rain, maybe even up to an inch and a half in portions of the mid-Atlantic region, depending on if you're underneath one of those strong to severe thunderstorms. And here's that initial front. By the time we get to late Saturday night, Sunday morning, it's already pushing off the coast. But again, we mentioned it's kind of a follow-up, a secondary cold frontal system. We by Sunday night, we get some cooler air, certainly on Sunday compared to Saturday in the mid-Atlantic region. Then a secondary cool front comes through by the time we get to Monday morning. This time period right here, this is probably the coolest day in this next shot. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday will be cool in the mid-Atlantic Northeast U.S. Probably Monday, and this is the forecast for Monday morning, will be the coolest day of those three, following the passage of a secondary cold front by the time we get to Sunday night, early Monday time frame. So still an active weather pattern. As long as these cold air outbreaks continue to drop into the U.S. from Canada, it'll remain active over the next couple of weeks. That's it for now. For ArcfieldWeather.com, this is the meteorologist, Paul Orion.